Listen, I need every Cowboys fan to hear this right now because what I'm about to expose is going to save you from looking foolish at work, at the barbershop, at the family cookout, wherever you discuss America's team, because there is a fake story spreading like wildfire and people are eating it up without checking a single fact. Before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because here at Cowboys Live News, we catch this nonsense the moment it drops and break it down so you never get caught slipping with bad information. Now let me tell you what's really going on, because this is a masterclass in how media manipulation works, and how Cowboys fans specifically get targeted every single offseason with this garbage. So here's the situation that's got everybody riled up. And the crazy part is, it all started from one misleading post on social media that completely twisted what was actually reported. There's an account on X with over 300,000 followers that put out a post saying, and I quote, that the Cowboys fined wide receiver George Pickens multiple times last season, and they attributed this to ESPN reporter Todd Archer. Sounds pretty damning, right? Sounds like George Pickens is a problem child, and the Cowboys are already having issues with their new star receiver. That's exactly what they want you to think. But here's what nobody is talking about, and this is where it gets interesting. That post is a flat-out lie. It's fabricated. It's twisted beyond recognition from what was actually written, and I'm gonna prove it to you right now. First of all, Todd Archer hasn't even been active on social media since right before Valentine's Day. The last thing the man tweeted was about the Cowboys hiring Kyle Fuller from the Raiders to be an assistant offensive line quality control coach. That's it. He said nothing on social media about George Pickens and fines and multiple issues. So where did this supposed report come from? Well, Todd Archer did publish an article on ESPN, but here's the thing that changes everything. It was a think piece. Let me say that again for the people in the back. It was an opinion piece. It was speculation. It was him sitting at his computer trying to fill column space during the offseason, because that's what these reporters have to do. They have salaries, they have quotas, they have deadlines, they have to produce content whether there's actual news or not. The article was literally titled something along the lines of how would a George Pickens free agency play out with the Cowboys? Does that sound like breaking news to you? Does that sound like insider information? No, it sounds exactly like what it is, which is a writer doing his job filling space and generating clicks during the slow part of the year. And the actual quote from the article that got twisted into this dramatic headline was simply that multiple sources said Pickens was fined during the season. Not fined multiple times, not fined repeatedly, not fined constantly, just that he was fined during the season. And guess what? We already knew about this. This is old news. This is the Vegas situation that happened and was addressed publicly by the organization. Remember when Pickens and CeeDee Lamb had to sit out the first quarter of a preseason game and got fined? The Cowboys talked about it openly. They said they handled it internally. They said they moved on. Coach Brian Schottenheimer addressed it directly. And you know what he said? He said it's just about establishing culture and expectations. He said there's no hard feelings. He said he loves these guys and they know where he's coming from. That's it. That's the whole story. There's no drama. There's no dysfunction. There's no locker room crisis. But that doesn't get clicks, does it? That doesn't drive engagement. That doesn't pay the bills for these content farms that are just churning out rage bait all day long. And this is where I need Cowboys Nation to really pay attention, because this is bigger than just one fake headline. This is a pattern. Every single offseason, we go through this exact same cycle. Some reporter writes a speculative piece to fill space. Some aggregator account twists it into something way more dramatic than it actually is. Cowboys fans see it and lose their minds. People start blaming Jerry Jones. People start saying the organization is planting stories. People start spreading misinformation to their friends and family. And before you know it, there's this whole narrative out there that has absolutely no basis in reality. The worst part is, there are going to be creators out there who run with this fake story because it gets views. There are going to be people who make videos saying, oh, here we go again. Jerry is planting seeds in the media for contract negotiations. Classic Jerry manipulation tactics. And I'm telling you right now, that is not what's happening here. I just traced this whole thing back to its source. I just showed you exactly how a nothing burger think piece got transformed into a sensational headline designed to make you angry. This is manufactured outrage. This is engagement farming at its finest. And Cowboys fans fall for it every single time. But not you. Not if you're watching this channel, not if you actually want to understand what's really happening with your team instead of just reacting to whatever garbage pops up on your timeline. So let me give you the facts, the actual confirmed information, the stuff we know for certain without any speculation or unnamed sources or think piece fluff. George Pickens is a Dallas Cowboy. The organization has said nothing but positive things about him publicly. They have been clear that they intend to keep him. They have been clear that they are excited about what he brings to this offense. They have been clear that they want to sign him long term. Jerry Jones himself has expressed enthusiasm about Pickens. The coaching staff has embraced him. Dak Prescott is thrilled to have a weapon like that. Everything official that has come out of the Cowboys organization suggests they view George Pickens as a cornerstone piece of this offense going forward. Now, does that mean there might be some growing pains? Of course. Does that mean a young, talented receiver with a strong personality might need some guidance and structure? Absolutely. Does that mean there might be some internal conversations about expectations and professionalism? Sure, that happens with every team and every young player. But there is a massive difference between normal team operations and the apocalyptic drama that these fake headlines want you to believe is happening. And here's something else to consider. When the Cowboys do eventually franchise tag George Pickens, and that is very likely to happen, don't freak out about that either. That's not a sign of trouble. That's not Jerry being cheap. That's not the organization failing to commit. That's good business. That's how the NFL works. You use the tag to buy time for negotiations. You use the tag to protect your asset while you work out a long-term deal. It happened with Dak. It happened with other stars around the league. It's a tool, not a punishment. So when you see those headlines that say Cowboys slap franchise tag on Pickens with some dramatic undertone like there's conflict, don't fall for it. That's just the process working exactly as designed. Now I want to talk about why this matters beyond just this one fake story, because there's a bigger issue here that affects how we consume sports media in general. We are living in an era where engagement is everything. Clicks equal money, outrage equals engagement, drama equals clicks. So there is a financial incentive for people to make everything seem worse than it is. There is literally money to be made by taking a boring nothing story and turning it into something that makes fans angry or worried or frustrated. And Cowboys fans specifically are the biggest target in all of sports. Why? Because we have the largest fan base. Because we have the most passionate supporters. Because stories about the Cowboys generate more engagement than stories about any other team. So every reporter, every aggregator, every content creator knows that if you can make Cowboys fans react, you're going to get paid. That's the game. And once you understand that's the game, everything starts to make more sense. That crazy headline you saw? Engagement bait. That anonymous source with the dramatic quote? Probably exaggerated or made up entirely. That think piece disguised as breaking news? Just someone trying to hit their word count. I'm not saying ignore all media. I'm not saying every reporter is lying, but I am saying you need to be extremely careful about what you accept as fact, especially during the offseason when there's no actual football to talk about. Look for primary sources. Look for direct quotes. Look for official statements from the organization. Be skeptical of anything attributed to unnamed sources or multiple reports. And definitely be skeptical of anything that seems designed to make you angry, because that's usually exactly what it's designed to do. So where does this leave us with George Pickens? Right where we were before this fake story dropped. He's a talented young receiver with elite potential. He played well with Dak Prescott. He made the Pro Bowl. He made All-Pro. He showed that when you give him a real quarterback, he can be one of the best in the league. Yes, he had some issues in Pittsburgh with maturity and timeliness. Yes, those things probably didn't completely disappear the moment he put on the star, but the Cowboys knew what they were getting. They traded for him anyway. They saw enough to believe he's worth the investment, and nothing that has come out since then suggests they've changed their mind about that. The organization is moving forward with Pickens as a key piece of their future. The coaching staff is working with him on the little things. The culture is being established, and everything we've heard officially indicates that things are going fine. Not perfect, not without any bumps, but fine, normal. Exactly what you'd expect when you bring in a young star and integrate him into a new system. That's the reality, not the drama, not the chaos, not the dysfunction that these fake headlines want you to believe. Just a football team doing doing football things in the offseason. I know that's less exciting than Jerry Jones sabotaging his own team, or George Pickens being a locker room cancer, or whatever other narrative people want to push. But sometimes the boring answer is the true answer, and in this case, the true answer is that everything is fine, and people are just making stuff up to get your attention. So the next time someone comes to you with some wild Cowboys story they saw on Twitter or Facebook or wherever, just ask them one question. Where did this actually come from? Make them trace it back to the source. Make them show you the actual quote. Make them prove it's not just some aggregator twisting a think piece into rage bait. 9 times out of 10 they won't be able to do it, because 9 times out of 10 these stories fall apart the moment you actually look at them. And that's the power of being an informed fan. That's the power of not just reacting to everything that hits your timeline. That's the power of actually understanding how this media game works. If you got value from this breakdown and you want to stay ahead of the nonsense, make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to be doing this all off season. Every time a fake story drops, every time the media tries to manufacture drama, every time someone twists a quote to make the Cowboys look bad, we're going to be here breaking it down and giving you the real story. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. Have you seen this fake Pickens story floating around? Did anyone try to tell you about it like it was fact? What other fake Cowboys narratives have you had to deal with this offseason? Drop your thoughts below, because I know I'm not the only one tired of having to fact check everything just to have a conversation about my own team. The bottom line is this: George Pickens is a Cowboy. The organization wants to keep him. There is no secret drama. There is no behind-the-scenes chaos. There are just reporters trying to fill column space, and aggregators trying to farm engagement, and all of us caught in the middle trying to figure out what's actually true. But now you know. Now you can see through the nonsense. Now you can be the one in your friend group who actually knows what's going on, instead of just repeating whatever garbage headline somebody shared on Facebook. That's what we do here at Cowboys Live News. We cut through the noise. We get to the truth. We keep Cowboys Nation informed and ready for whatever comes next. I appreciate every single one of you for watching. Until next time, stay smart, stay patient, and most importantly, stay believing in our boys, because this team is building something and no amount of fake headlines is going to change that. How about them Cowboys?